Sup, my name is Ryu for TheCouncilNetwork. Welcome to the Gotham Season 1 entire review, where we talk about all 22 wonderful episodes of this series. And damn, it started off slow, I gotta be completely honest. We're gonna talk about every single episode in a summarized way. I took a bunch of notes, I got like 10 pages. Let's hear that flipping. That flipping is professional flipping. I got 10 pages of notes written down for all the episodes, and I'm going to go over them, and then we'll talk about Season 2. So, obviously, there's news about Season 3, but I really don't want to go into it, because if you're like me and you just started getting into the series, I don't want to spoil shit for you, but it goes without saying everything about Season 1 that there is to spoil. Major plot points. So, obviously, the first episode opens with the Wayne's murder. It also sets up this is Gotham, a city in turmoil and chaos, and why were the Waynes murdered, what was a significant meaning behind it, and why eventually one day, in this tragic city, will there need to be such a hero that goes into the abyss of darkness, just barely crosses that line, and says, I'm going to be that dark hero that hides in the shadows and fights from the shadows, and just does not love anyone because I'm going to put everything aside just to make sure I can save this city. So that another young boy like me doesn't have to lose his parents. That's pretty much the basic understanding of Batman in a nutshell. Riddler works for the cops. He works for God damn it. GPCD. I knew I was going to screw it up. I was hoping I did. Penguin is basically working for this character called Fish Mooney, who's written for the show. We're going to go over a lot of Fish Mooney stuff. She's actually got a really big thing. Falcone and Maroni are the two big gang mobsters of the show. And basically Falcone owns one part of the city. Maroni thinks, he owns the other. Both of these guys think that they're in charge when technically they're not. It's hinted at in Season 1 who is really running the city, but it's not till Season 2 that we find out, so I'm going to leave that for the Season 2 review, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So we get to meet Barbara Keene. Yes, Barbara Keene, not Barbara Gordon. I know there's a Barbara on the show, and I don't want that confusion going there. And Alfred is he's an old dog, from the war, so I like this Alfred. I like the way he's played out. But Fish Mooney, guys, she's like, that whole thing just drove me nuts. The first couple of episodes are really slow. So that is just the basic setup for episode 1. And it just sets up, if I had to describe what Gotham is, besides what I described it as, it's kind of like Law and Order. In a way, it's like Law and Order, but with Gotham villains. And then, towards Season 2, it gets really flipped on its script and goes a completely different direction. I don't want to talk about it until the Season 2 review. So, episode 2, Beeline plot. Typical Beeline plot. You could pretty much skip that, not to sound that way. And then we got Jim Gordon, who wants to clean up GPCD and figure out who really killed Bruce's dad. Dollmaker's name is dropped in this episode. The way Bruce is hurting himself, pretty much leading the way to how he will start training himself down the line. Episode 2 was a lot better than episode 1, but episode 3, by far, in my opinion, was probably the slowest, most ridiculous, boring episode, at least for me, for Gotham. And that is the Balloon Man episode, where the villain is, the B story is the Balloon Man, and I was just like, I can't get behind. So, in episode 1, I think it's 1 or 2, I think it's 1, basically, Jim fakes, shooting Penguin, says, get the fuck out of Gotham, because he's told by Fish Mooney, who wants Penguin dead, Falcone, who wanted Penguin dead, I was about to say Fish, but he wanted Penguin dead, so pretty much he tasked Jim with it to prove that, Jim's got to prove himself, hey, look, I'm following the rules. That's kind of the thing. So you get in this whole storyline of Penguin faked his death with the help of Jim, and now he tells Jim, I owe you my life, and there's going to be cops that basically throughout Season 1, the first quarter of Season 1, try to investigate and think that he actually, Jim killed him when he didn't, and when they find out, the script is flipped again, kind of thing. But I gotta be honest, Season 1's kind of, it's what you would expect from a TV show that doesn't have Batman, but it's about the city before Batman comes. There's a few things that I do have to say I did not like. So Penguin's traveling back to Gotham. Gordon still wants to figure out who set up the Waynes to die. Barbara's sort of past is mentioned to a degree. We kind of get part of it. This is the episode of Arkham. We're introduced to the idea of that Arkham Asylum is this older place. They don't use it no more. And Penguin comes back to Gotham, meets up with Gordon, and then we get the Beeline storyline, which is this... I don't know how to describe it. It was like one of those spit pipes. Like, if you try to put a spitball in it, it was like one of those pipes where it had something that popped out. That was pretty much the Beeline story and took up most of the plot for the episode. And it didn't really move anything ahead. It was just more, this is how Gordon operates kind of thing, just to show you. And sets up certain scenes. That's how I felt about it, in all honesty. Episode 5, I can't even read my own shit for what I put for the title. I'm just being completely honest here. Bruce starts trying to figure out who killed his family because Gordon's not doing enough. And that starts to show, how later down the line, it's like the little pieces that lay the layers down to lead into what he does as Batman, how he, his brain works. It's supposed to give you a little idea of it. Episode with the Viper. Okay, so the episode's called Viper, and it predates Bane, but it's like Bane's poison that he uses to get really strong, except that this poison, since it's predating what Bane uses, attacks the bone cells after, making you Superman for about 30 seconds, and, well, it eats all your calcium in your body and kills you. So that's a great trade-off. But it felt probably, for the first 5 episodes, it was probably the most out there episode, which you're going to see more of for this. Episode 6 of Gotham is called Spirit of the Ghost, and that's where we get the B storyline, that there's this goat character, and you actually find out it's a psychiatrist that is brainwashing people to become the goat. And, she wants to kill the 1% of Gotham. If you played Arkham Knight, there's a side story that is similar to this. And basically, they want to kill off the 1% because they blame the 1% for everything. But once again, one of those episodes that you just really feel like you could skip and not really lose out too much outside of a few things. Then we get to episode 7, and this is where shit gets crazy, because at the very end of episode 6 is where Gordon is arrested, and, they think he did the murder. And then Penguin comes back in episode 7. He's like, I'm alive. Fuck you bitches. I'm alive. So Fish Mooney finds out Penguin's alive, has a crazy shit fit. Harvey pulls a gun on Gordon. We get this really crazy scene where you think that, well, obviously, since this predates Batman, there's certain characters that are not going to kill other characters, hence why it's harder to get into the show at times. Harvey pulls out a gun on Gordon, and Gordon's like, I'll fix it, don't worry. So Gordon wants to arrest the mayor and Falcone for conspiracy of the Waynes murder, which I'll say again and hint about. They technically had something to do with it, but also not having something to do with it. I'll talk more about it in Season 2, because towards the end of Season 2 is where it really plays out. Victor Raz is in this episode. Again, if you play the Arkham games, you know who he is. What's actually funny is, because we talk about Flash on here, he's actually played by an actor who played another character on The Flash, who was the gas villain who died. So can you imagine if Gotham and Flash had a crossover? How fucked up that would be? Hey, I died on your show, but I'm back. So I just thought that was really funny. The cops who arrested Gordon basically now feel fucking retarded, and they save him before he dies because, well, there's a giant shootout and whatnot. Yeah, that happens. Fish meets with Sal Maroni. He's an Italian guy, but I don't know what it was about Maroni. I don't know what it was about the actor or just the way it was portrayed. I got very Sopranos feel from him. That wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it wasn't a great thing at the same time. And the one thing I hate in Season 1, and I'm just going to skip to the episode 8 parts. One thing I hate in Season 1 is we get this scene where basically, Gordon says, I'm going to fix this Barbara, get the fuck out of Gotham. And 1 minute she's like, okay, I'm going to do that. And the next she's like, no. I'm going to be retarded. I'm going to go Falcone and then just be captured. And it just really felt dumb. Because it's like, 1 minute she's crazy, the next minute she's stupid, it's just her character's too much all over the place. Well, some level of consistency, and I know the payoff comes at the end of the season, when she kills her parents, or supposedly kills her parents. I'm still watching season 2, what can I say? And that plays into a guy who, does that. Episode 8 is called The Mask, and, well, there's really not too much to say. Fish Mooney stabs Penguin's hand because, he's working for Maroney now, because that's where he went back to. I should have mentioned that. Bruce goes back to school. That did not go well. And this is where we see Enigma actually start doing autopsies, even though he's not supposed to, but this leads to character development for him later on the line. I'll talk about it towards the end of the review. Episode 9 introduces Harvey Dent, and my first real problem with Gotham, because I know what people are going to say. Harvey Dent sometimes is younger than Bruce, sometimes older than Bruce. Get over it, Ryu. It's kind of my point with the Mythalos, that I hate when I take characters that don't predate Batman or come up around the time Batman does consistently for many and many of years, especially Harley Quinn being the finest example. No, she's not in season 1. No, she's not in season 2. But apparently later down the line they want to do it. I think anyone who knows Harley Quinn semi-decently knows pretty much she comes into play after Batman and Joker have brawls left and right, and before Jason Todd dies. So that's something that just kind of drives me fucking nuts, but that's just me. So, it's one of those things that I like that they introduced them. At the same time, I was like, fuck, man. Selena Kyle plays a good part of this season by saying, I know who did it, and then, of course, backtrack sounded like, I ain't getting part of that. Episode 10 is called Lovecraft. It's where we get to see an assassin going after Bruce. That is a very important thing going into season 2. Just try to remember that. And I'm quoting this line because I'm probably going to do major spoilers in like 30 seconds. People who really run this city. So last 10 seconds, I'm going to warn people, either click off the video, close your windows, just like that, lock it up. Nah, I don't want to hear this part. Here is who is really running Gotham, and we find out at the end of season 2. I'm going to mention it right here. I know I didn't want to say it. The Court of Owls. They're the ones who, I'm getting messages on Skype, they're the ones who are really working behind the scenes to go after Bruce, but again, that's going to play out more in season 3 than anything, but I'm mentioning it now, so you got warned beforehand. Poison Ivy's also introduced in this episode. She's going to have a crazy role in season 3 where she gets mutated into a much older person, but hey, aha, that's the thing. Now we move on to episode, I think we're at, we are at 11, so we're halfway there. This is the, I want to say Rogues Gallery, if I remember right, if that's the name. Gordon is now a prison guard. He kind of got demoted mid-season. Selena, Poison Ivy stay at Barbara's place. Butch kills his best friend. Not too much really happens in this episode. It's really slow. It's kind of one of those things that's just like goes in the future and sets up for the back half or the middle half of the season. Episode 12 is the Executioner B storyline, and yeah, I mean, there's really not too much that I get super excited for. This is where Liza comes into place with Fish. She uses Liza to try to get to Falcone and have her, get Falcone to get in love with her and all that shit. It's just one of those things. And then episode 13, welcome back, Jim Gordon, where there is an actual torture scene of Fish Mooney because, well, I'm going to jump on a few things here. So at some point, Falcone realizes that Fish is double-crossing him and shit and says, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to start torturing you, that's going to be that. So, of course, Butch manages to save her this time, but shit gets crazy because she's going to leave Gotham, and episode 13, she leaves Gotham, and then she ends up in a basement where we actually get to see the doll maker. And the doll maker is not someone you really want to be near because he's going to take your body parts and, well, he's going to use them. And we also had an entire episode, basically, like, this guy wants the dolls and whatnot. It's kind of one of those things. Wanted kids and use them for the same purpose. But, again, one of those episodes I was just kind of, like, mad about. Now, episode 14 and episode 15, it's a two-part episode. It's Dr. Crane. Now, you're probably thinking instantly, Scarecrow. No, this is Scarecrow's dad, and Scarecrow's pretty young. And here's, again, one of those things about Gotham. It drove me nuts. I know. You know, there's a lot that can make someone snap and go crazy, like Dr. Crane becoming a Scarecrow. But having his dad doing the pre-poison kind of thing, toxin, and leading into it, felt a little out of place, in all honesty. I know the story writers are just trying to put out a good story. I thought it was handled well. I gotta be honest, I didn't care for it, but I thought it was handled well, so that's a thing. But, yeah, so Fish Mooney gets control of the basement. We get to see Mr. Grayson, remember that name, Dick Grayson's dad, very much younger version, and Jerome, who everyone is leading to believe that's the Joker, and this is where I flip my book and go, really? Really? There's a lot of things I know people are probably going to just hate on me for instantly wanting to hate on, and it's not that I don't hate the actor, it's not that I hate the actor, that's what I'm going to say, who is portraying Jerome. I think he does an amazing job, and could make one hell of a Joker with the laugh and the prestige he carries to the role. Now, it's not confirmed that he'll become the Joker, but it's pretty much hinted at. And I know there's more than just one Joker, but again, it's one of those things that it's like, if you're going to do the Joker that early, then it's kind of like, need a Batman. And if there's no Batman, there shouldn't be a Joker, because they kind of work in together, because it's Batman, you know? It's the one villain we know more than anything. And to have Joker, and then, of course, the mention of Harley Quinn coming in afterwards, makes me want to just stick my head in my freaking shirt like a turtle and go, no. But I'm going to be open to it. I think the actor who plays Jerome does an amazing job. From 1 second being, like, really upset to the next being a psycho. There's no other way to describe it. I'm going to pick my book up, and we're going to continue this madness that is the Gotham season review. Episode 17, Red Hood. Oh, and at this point, Fish rips her eye out with a spoon, and then Dollmaker gives her a new eye, and she becomes his right-hand man, replacing the guy that wanted to, well, experiment on her, and he became a woman. Probably one of the most disturbing scenes of the entire season. I had to throw up there. It's disgusting thinking about it. So, Red Hood. We heard of the Red Hood gang. We get to see it played out. Alfred's old friend comes in. He's working for the Court of Owls. There's no other way to put it. He's working for the motherfucking Court of Owls. He's tasked with finding out what Bruce knows. And of course, Wayne Enterprises, their whole freaking, board is filled with Court of Owls people. At least that's what I believe. So, he stabs Alfred, and then, of course, we get this really emotional scene with Bruce, where you actually see how much he cares about Alfred. Obviously, that was already a thing, but I'm just saying, it was nice to see on the TV show. Episode 19 is called Beast of Prey. Fish is planning to escape from the island at this point, even though, she's his right-hand man. We get introduced to a nut called Jason. I didn't catch his last name, but he pretty much sets up Barbara for the arc that she goes on the last bit of the season where she kills her parents and whatnot, but no one really knows if she killed them or he killed them. She just admitted to it. So Bruce hits the streets with Selina. This is pretty much more like training kind of montage, if you would. And Penguin setting up his plans to basically get Maroni and Falcone to kill each other. It's kind of a thing. Episode 20 is called Gotham Under the Knife. Barbara meets and / dates Jason at this point. Yeah, it doesn't go well. Needless to say, it really does not go well. At this point, the episode prior, Fish managed to get off the island into a plane and fly off, but she got sniped. We didn't know what happened, but she made it out alive at this point. Riddler calls out the cop who's abusing the girl he has interest in. Riddler wanted some booty. He wanted some bootios. So At this point, Riddler calls him out, and he goes, "What are you going to do about it, Riddle Man?" And then that's when the twist happens. He kills him by stabbing him multiple times, and we get to see this transformation happen between Edward Nygma into Beta Riddler. So that's going to also play out in Season 2 and not in Season 1. A little disappointed, but obviously, with 2 episodes left, what would you really do? Episode 21 is called Gotham, the Anvil or the Hammer, and that's when Riddler is skinned ready to the body. That's why I was also talking about the autopsy thing, was kind of foreshadowing it. You know, it teaches them, hey, this is how you get rid of a body and decompose it and whatnot. You probably knew prior, but still. Selina mails Bruce a key. This key is very important, and I'll talk about it in the very end. Jason comes out to Barbara, says he will set her free. He knows the evil, the fire that's in her, and he actually manages to do that. Lucius Fox appearance, and of course another hint to the Court of Owls. Lucius tells Bruce that his father kept the best version of himself hidden, you know, the real version of himself, and just bullshitted everyone through. So it's a little foreshadowing what happens into Season 2. And Episode 22 is Gotham and all families are happy. Well, it's actually all families are happy. And Fish is back. Falcone and Maroni are at war. It's a high-paced episode. If you ever watch Sons of Anarchy, I often reference that. You'll understand what I mean. Falcone is in the hospital. He's down, and of course Gordon comes in when Penguin was about to kill him. It's like, oh, you're under arrest. Fuck you. We're done. Now Maroni's going after Falcone, Gordon, Harvey Dent, and yeah, that should be it. And they get them, you know, him and Fish, and he does this dumbest thing that you don't do to Fish, because she's a crazy lady. You don't say, oh, you're just number 2, okay? You an okay lady. So Fish has a fit, shoots him in the head, and that's the end of Maroni's arc. Falcone makes it out alive, thanks to Gordon, heads off into the wild, because, you know, he's old at this point. He's not the younger Falcone that we'll get, hopefully, eventually. We also get to meet, in Season 1, Dr. Tompkins, who becomes a love interest for Gordon, and Barbara comes out to her, admits what happened, and then that's how Barbara comes out and admits that she killed him. And then finally, we get what was building the entire season, the tension between Fish and Penguin on top of a roof, with Butch so damn confused that he accidentally shoots, or purposely shoots, Fish. And then, of course, Fish goes over the wall, and we don't know if she lives. Minor spoiler for Season 2, she doesn't. But Season 2 is a lot better than Season 1 by far, so I can't really say I enjoyed Season 1 as much. Watching it back for a second time, pulling out those notes has been one hell of an experience. I've spent 2 weeks doing this, preparing this part, and then, of course, the editing that will go into this will take a day or two. I just want to say, overall, I'm not calling Gotham Season 1 bad, but it's the predecessor for what comes. So, if you're just getting into Gotham, just mow on through Season 1 as much as possible. Get all your character details, because you need all that backstory to go into Season 2 and go, oh my god, they did not just do that. So, can't wait to do the Season 2 video. I will put it out as soon as possible. Once I'm done marathoning, again, 22 more episodes, God help me. And I will see you guys on the next video. Check out Gotham Season 1 on Netflix. Gotham Season 2, I think you watch it on Hulu. That's pretty much what I've been doing. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace.